The snow is also threatening, well, I wouldn't even say threatening. It's already canceled the game tonight for a Rockies versus Mets game, throwing a big curveball at America's favorite pastime, where we are looking at the game shifting around, not only for today, with it being canceled, but also a shift in first pitch come tomorrow. So we figured we'd bring in sports meteorologist Kevin Roth to join us and talk about it. Kevin, I was looking at your website earlier, and you had highlighted, even before the game was canceled, you said, I'm not going to go even too far into this forecast because this is likely going to be null and void anyway. I'd be very surprised if they went ahead with the game.
Yeah, and I've seen some games play in the snow, and it's a lot of fun, but not inches and inches of snow, right? Snow flurries, I've seen games played, but I have to say, this is the first time I've been forecasting snow in a baseball game in May. So that is a first, and I'm not exactly surprised that it ended the way it did with that postponement.
Yeah, I mean, last night the game was also shifted earlier to avoid some thunderstorms. So, I mean, how do teams decide when it's finally time to call it quits? And, you know, no matter how much you want to squeeze the game in, it's just not going to happen. And who do you think is spoken to about these decisions and makes the final call?
So it's a really complex decision, and it's done kind of team by team, organization by organization. Some organizations, like I know the Twins, for example, they have a meteorologist on staff, and he's a very, very good meteorologist. Very often they make the right calls as to if they're going to move the game, postpone the game. Whereas other teams, and I'm not going to throw any organizations under the bus, but I've seen other teams make some very, very poor choices. And sometimes it's just, an owner looking at a weather app and, saying, oh, I think we're going to be fine. And then it pours for 5 hours. Or conversely, I've seen games get postponed without a drop of rain because of a poor forecast. So I do think there should be some sort of industry standard. And as of now, there's not. Each team is kind of on their own to make those choices.
Now, you have a really unique perspective on just different weather components and what it can mean for a baseball game. What would you say is the biggest concern with snow on the playing field? And I'm assuming they're going to be tarping everything up. Do you think they'll even be able to squeeze in the game tomorrow? I know that they're postponing the first pitch from 1 o'clock in the afternoon roughly to about 7 o'clock. But do you think that still has a good chance at making it in, or could this be now game 2 canceled in a row?
I think they probably are able to clear things. You mentioned, right? Tarp it up. You don't want the snow sitting there melting, ended up flooding the field. But I do expect they'll likely be able to play this. It's not all that often that I'm dealing with snow during baseball season, right? Baseball is primarily a summer sport. It's more so we're talking about the impact of the rain. And just yesterday, for example, we had 2 games that were moved up to avoid storms. One of those in Detroit, they moved the game up. They avoided the storms. It was perfect. One of them in Chicago, they moved the game up an hour. And at the scheduled first pitch, the storms moved in right at that time that they moved the game to, right? So every team has their own challenges with weather. Sometimes it's snow. Sometimes it's the rain. I've seen games postponed for wind. I've seen games postponed for extreme heat. It is multifaceted, but not too often we get to talk about the snow here.
You say that, but it's not the first time this year that there was at least some movement due to snow for the Rockies. A quick Google search tells me it was April 17th with the Dodgers playing at the Rockies, where they had to change maybe first pitch or change the date. What was that forecast like, and how do you think that compares to what we're looking at today?
A totally different scenario, right? That was some snow, and this is a winter storm warning in effect. And as I mentioned, there have been games that get played in the snow. It's a lot of fun. You got some video there showing the flags flying there as the snow is falling. But once you start getting higher snow totals falling in game, it impacts the visibility, and it really becomes a dangerous issue, right? People are on the mound throwing 100 miles per hour, and if you can't see where that ball's going, or if someone's hitting it and you can't field it, that becomes a dangerous issue. The field starts becoming slick. You don't want these multi-million-dollar athletes hurting themselves as well. So organizationally, typically, if that snow starts to fall pretty heavy, you'll see those games get canceled.
Yeah, I mean, my least favorite weather to play in is extreme cold. I played soccer my whole life, played in college. I can take extreme heat, but extreme cold, even as a fan, I'm unfortunately going to be selling my tickets online. I'm just not going.
Yeah, no,
So
100%. I'm with you. And it's also really bad for hitting conditions. So
Mhm.
cold air, as you know, that's dense air. So if you want to see a lot of runs, a lot of home runs, and it's cold, the ball just doesn't carry as far in those conditions.
Right.
So a lot of times you'll see sports bettors capitalizing on that, trying to target unders or finding ways to use the weather for their advantage. And cold air is one way to do that.
Yeah, not saying I've done this before, but I do have a competitive edge in sports betting with my meteorology degree. So, Kevin, thanks so much. We really appreciate your insight today.
I'd love to hear it. Thank you for having me on. And anytime you want to talk sports weather, I'm here for you.
Love it.